a person like everyone else.
Yes.
I have people in this sector who come up to me on panels and say to my face that they don't like me. I've never met these people. I don't talk to them. I've never had any dealings with them. But they are going to say, I don't like you. I don't care for you. All this.
That's right.
Do you know how offended I am about that?
That's tough.
I can understand if I disagreed with someone and we had a fall and we didn't get along. That's fine. But someone I don't know, you mentioned Nikki Proctor-Walden. She's an excellent example. This is a woman I never spoke to, and I haven't spoken to now. This is a woman I never had any dealings with. And this woman goes and attacked me on a bunch of panels for no reason.
Right.
I could understand if I disagreed with you or I had a problem with you. But you're going to treat me that way? I don't know you. That was the issue, and that's why I have nothing to do with such a person. It's your deportment. When you deal with someone, there are ways to handle things behaviorally, and there are ways not to. If you don't want me on the panel last night, it's perfectly fine by me, but there are ways to handle that. It's called manners. Now,
okay, tell me what's the best way to tell you. How do you, again, how do you want me to tell you the days I don't want you on my panel to make you feel better?
Anti-Afro Bengalis, this is a commentary I stated I was going to be posting after I put up these two videos from live stream segments from 2023. So let me first address the lead-in. It correlates or is directly associated with or applies to the civil rights movement, the I am a man term, where black men, specifically sanitation workers, were making it very clear that we deserve to be treated like anyone else on the base level, like anyone else in the city. We shouldn't be treated differently because the color of our skin. I'm still a man. It relates to what you just heard the Al Show say. I don't think anyone can disagree with that. Now, he made some other comments I'm going to address in a second. But the first part, he is a person like anyone else. That's all well and good, but the reason why there has been a breakdown, if you will, a severe conflict that's occurred, is because that sentiment begins and ends with the Al Show. That's it. That is not the sentiment that is applied to others. Now, if the Al Show sees a potential benefit, an opportunity, he'll play it off and act like it. But when it comes down to it, it still begins and ends with him. Now, look at that during your working hours or you're dealing with people in public. Nobody has to love you, like you, fall down at your feet. But we all, in general, by and large, get along. We're harmonious in society. Because there are certain behaviors that you display in order to maintain that. You don't just jump up and start making rude comments to people because it makes them feel like Al just described. Since Al knows how this was making him feel, here and now, he's showing his true feelings that he doesn't care. He was just putting on an act so he could be accepted for the purposes of what he wanted to be accepted for. And let me just say this, if you go to a space and you hop on a panel or you're in a chat and you have people who start to attack you and the host is going along with it, leave. You can't force anybody to treat you with any respect. You're going to feel worse if you hang around, but it's unacceptable to Al to conceive after finding a spot where he felt superior that anyone dares to mistreat him. That's why he's unwilling to relinquish. I mean, there are other reasons, but he still feels that he is superior around people in the Umar Johnson space. That's the drive. I have a place where I feel I am superior. I can kid myself into thinking I'm superior. So when there are barriers like what he encountered that he said at the beginning, it's not acceptable. That's why he was pushing and pushing in those clips. I encourage you to listen, especially to the longer version. He was continuing to force, compel, assert a position of superiority over Stargate as far as what she is supposed to be doing on her panel. And you will hear it. You click on the links, how the Owl Show expected to be coddled and pampered and placated, accommodated beyond reasonable expectations. Now, when you are in harmonious sphere, when everyone's getting along, it's a mutual thing. People will accommodate, placate, coddle, support. But this was a conflict. He was demanding all of this in conflict mode and was unwilling to give anything. This is not any situation that the Owl Show would ever allow to be tolerated on his platform. This is the reason why he has encountered an escalating number of more intense issues and for sure more intolerable, because he's assumed this brazen disposition as he tries to be more aggressive in his assertions in dominating over an entire group in a moral sense. Absolutely. And don't make any mistake about it. Threats of physical violence have come in, and I will deal with that in a few minutes. Like I said, getting respect begins and ends with the Owl Show, which is the reason why he's encountered so many issues. Now, before I go on, I want to show you another example of something that I referred to recently. This has to do with terminology, and this happened on Geraldo Rivera back in the late 80s. It's a brief segment of reactions to when a label is used on a white person. Just check out the response. Stay tuned and I will return.
Hey, Michael, what's your education?
I graduated from high school and I'm a layout and design artist.
A land design artist?
Layout and design.
Layout and design.
And an ex-con.
Are you an ex-con also?
Not an ex-con. Are you out of your mind?
Yes, you are, Michael. Why'd you tell him the truth?
Hey, I got no convictions, man.
I have to go to court tomorrow. That's true, but I'm not an ex-con, and I don't.
What do you charge?
You could take a drug test, and you wouldn't see any needle.
What do you charge?
Oh, drugs have nothing to do with it. Only
What do you charge?
I'm not an ex-con. You can.
Rabbi, what's he
my
charged?
resume here, it won't say
What's
I'm an
he charged
ex-con. I was thrown out.
He was arrested for a felony.
A felon. Wait, hold it. Here we are. Question.
And reportedly served time for felony.
Oh, yes, people. You see how quickly this white dude gets bent out of shape being called an ex-convict, and the other guy in the middle, circling red, they weren't even talking to him. And look, he got on the defensive. But it's okay to rattle off these very racially charged criminal justice labels and put them on black folks, although they don't apply. And when I say they don't apply, they don't even think for a second whether they will apply. Yeah, you can go ahead and call us all these names, convicts and parolees and all this stuff, ex-cons, without knowing any history. Just the fact that a black person was arrested doesn't mean the worst criminal justice label applies. But this is something that's automatic. And I had told the Owl Show, be careful when you use these racially loaded terms. This is a perfect example. White folks are not going to let you label them in this manner, but it's perfectly okay to rattle it off against a black person. No problem. It's furthermore just a walk in the park to go ahead and throw a thug in there. Without feeling the need, you have to justify it in any way, shape, or form, although you don't know shit about the person you are making the comment to or about. As far as this dude here, I have no idea whether he served time for a felony, as they said at the end. He's saying he's in court. Because you're in court doesn't mean you're an ex-convict. I couldn't tell you. But he sure is defending himself. But Al Lanier doesn't think that black folks have any defense. He's just going to type in the chat that they're convicts and parolees and all these things. Doesn't even know how to use the terms, which again goes back to improper training as a journalist or no training as a journalist. So we're going to stay on labels for a second. Now, labels have meaning, have purpose. When someone's slapping a label on you, there are certain things they are expecting of you. Number one is to accept the label. Number two is shut the hell up. Number three is to assume guilt that they feel because their comments that they made prompted you to respond in a certain way that they don't like. And this is here with the Owl Show with these terms, mad, she's still mad. Yeah, the angry black woman, right? We do know when you're talking about emotions, they can be racially charged when you apply them to people. Black folks ain't got control of their temper. They're violent. Look at that loud black woman. Look at her bad behavior. You heard him. You're going to hear him when he's talking to Stargate. Like he's holding court over some slave plantation and we got to be in line. No, you're in our space. The Owl Show, you have to be in line. But let me tell you how this goes far beyond the Owl Show just giving an opinion, a very racist, stereotypical opinion about black people and their emotions. Oh, he thinks it's so bad. I'm ready to ruin my reputation. Reputation? What about his reputation and his career, the one he wanted me to help him with? But he's worried about my reputation? Then he must be truly terrified for his own reputation status because he runs around calling women deep throats. Oh, he knows the implications because he denied he even said it. He doesn't have the guts or the balls, or whatever you want to call it, to say, this is what she ran around calling herself. I'm the best D-sucker. I'm going to put that down my throat. She made all these graphic descriptors. This is stank booty bigot about oral copulation and who she wanted to do it to. I mean, it was really vulgar, crass, disgusting, uncouth. Behind all that, he used the term deep throat, but still is embarrassed and ashamed to actually admit it. What's the reason you're embarrassed and ashamed? Because you're a coward. He denies, he says what he says. And that is a mark of a yellow belly coward who can't even own up to anything that he has said, then thinks he can hold court over black people, their conduct, what they should or shouldn't be doing, and get the hell off YouTube while he remains engulfed in YouTube from A to Z, wagging his finger at everybody else. He must feel so secure in the position that he at least was maintaining for a time, kidding himself to that extent. I want to briefly detour to this term facade, which is what the Owl Show put in a recent message in a live stream referring to me. And let me tell you, the vast majority of what the Owl Show writes and what he puts on, on the community wall and the live streams that he deletes immediately and claims he never did, which people are sending to me. The funniest thing of all is to have the nerve to characterize anyone else as a facade or to indicate they were putting up a facade. What about the facade that the Owl Show is calm, cool, collected, and doesn't get angry? What about the facade that the Owl Show constantly asserts and tries to perpetrate that he first came to the Umar Johnson sector in 2024? That's an extreme degree of a facade, which is actually coinciding with bald-faced lies. Oh, let me tell you about this facade. This is the second time the Owl Show tries to perpetrate as if he kicked me to the curb. It's so important to him to try to put on this facade that he's all important and he's handling me and I'm listening to what he says and he's kicking me to the curb. Oh my God. Please, if you're going to make up a lie, try to make it consistent with my character. I don't chase men around. This dude was in my DMs. I'm not in his DMs. leaving me these messages. I blocked him from YouTube and I blocked him from Twitter. That's what happened. So he can try to put up yet another facade to make it appear that he's all important. But what did he do the last time he tried this garbage? When he got his ass handed to him, he came running back over here, crying and whining. Go and sue Photon. Go and sue Chat Lives Matter. Like he said he was going to sue me if I don't leave him alone. I dare you to go to court and lie to a judge about me harassing you when you got your ass up in my DMs until I blocked your sorry ass. It doesn't even make any sense. Why would I be chasing after the Al Show? Oh my God, like I've got no options. That's one of the ways he seeks to make himself feel important when he actually knows he doesn't feel important. He's just perpetrating, yet again, another facade. He hates to admit it. He hates that it's true that he got back on Photon's panel only because of me. I got you back up there because I asked Photon if he would bring you up. That's how you got back on Photon's panel. If you get back on Photon's panel, guess who Photon is going to ask you about? He's going to ask you about how your day was? No, he's going to ask you about me. Thinking he's so important and aims to try to see if he can overtake a black woman. 92% of his anger is about what happened behind the scenes. He would jump up and start posting these messages about Stargate. He would make these snide comments. He would go into the chats, trying to use the chats as battering rams. This off-the-wall, obscure comments or seemingly about Stargate is because of something happened. That's what he does. He went over to, I'm not going to mention the person's name, Stargate was in the heat of battle. The person was coming over to the Umar Johnson sector, jumping in chats and jumping on panels, and Stargate was going back and forth. What does the Al Show do? He goes over to that person's chat and starts talking shit about Stargate because he was pissed at something behind the scenes. Oh my God, grow up. He acts like a 2-year-old baby who wants to be fed constantly and have his diaper changed every 5 minutes. Baby, 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 coddle. I don't have time for that. We're on missions. I got things I'm trying to continue with. This is just a side detour. I don't have any intention of continuing to talk about the Al Show. But there's no way I could pass this up because of the intersect between the past and what's happening in the here and now.